Look down.
Is your name beyond all compare? Gracious Jehovah, please hear my prayer. Thank you, dear God.
In the audience here, and you're not able to see all you dear brothers who are tied in for this broadcast, but I have right in front of me Brother and Sister Hopkinson, Brother and Sister Kelsey.
Ihr könnt jetzt nicht die Zuhörerschaft sehen, die ich vor Augen habe, aber zum Beispiel hier in der ersten Reihe sitzen das Ehepaar Hopkinson und das Ehepaar Kelsey.
You know, all five of us, we have something in common.
Wir fünf haben etwas gemeinsam.
We were all baptized between the ages of 9 and 11.
Wir fünf sind gemeinsam im Alter zwischen 9 und 11 Jahren getauft worden.
It's the best decision I ever made.
Das war die beste Entscheidung, die ich je getroffen habe.
Let me ask you four here. Was it the best decision you ever made?
War das auch in eurem Fall die beste Entscheidung? Ja,
All four are nodding yes.
Ja, wir nicken alle.
Well, you know, the governing body took notice of how many young ones were dedicating their life to serve Jehovah.
Es liegt der leitenden Körperschaft sehr am Herzen zu beobachten und sie beobachten genau, wie viele junge Menschen sich Jehova hingeben und taufen lassen.
In the 2009 yearbook, in the letter from the governing body,
Im Jahrbuch 2009 hieß es eingangs in dem Brief der leitenden Körperschaft an uns alle,
this is what the governing body said.
da sagt uns die leitende Körperschaft,
At the various assemblies and conventions this year,
bei den vielen Kongressen, die es in diesem Jahr gegeben hat,
it has been a real joy to see so many who have qualified for baptism.
haben sich sehr viele junge Menschen taufen lassen und darüber freuen wir uns.
Among them were some quite young in years.
Und darunter waren auch einige, die noch ziemlich jung sind.
You parents are to be commended for raising your children
Wir möchten euch, ihr lieben Eltern, dafür loben, dass ihr in euren Kindern die Wahrheit ins Herz eingepflanzt habt.
to have an appreciation for the truth
So haben sie Wertschätzung für die Wahrheit.
and for encouraging them to make a dedication to serve Jehovah when young.
Und wir danken euch, ihr lieben Eltern, dafür, dass ihr euren Kindern geholfen habt, die Entscheidung zu treffen, Jehova zu dienen. Und zwar, als sie noch ziemlich jung waren.
That such dear young ones face many challenges at school
Unsere lieben Kinder machen sehr viel durch in der Schule, was nicht einfach ist.
and yet have qualified to be baptized
Und trotzdem haben sie die Voraussetzungen für die Wassertaufe erfüllt.
speaks very well of the home training that they have received. That beautifully expresses the viewpoint of the governing body.
Ja, so empfindet die leitende Körperschaft wirklich.
But now, brothers, I want to ask you a question.
Nun möchte ich euch aber eine Frage stellen.
Do you share that viewpoint of the governing body?
Meine Frage ist, empfindet ihr genauso wie die leitende Körperschaft?
Are you helping your children to become unbaptized publishers and to make their dedication at a young age?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we just listen to a talk a few weeks ago by Brother Sanutko about your spiritually dead children?
Yeah.
And how mothers, the sisters, were regretting they even had their children?
I wonder how many of them were baptized at 9, 10, or 11. See, the problem is, Watchtower, is that these talks are getting recorded, and now we're able to pit one Watchtower speaker against another Watchtower speaker and expose the absolute hypocrisy that you people are spreading. And in fact, later in this portion of this part 2 of this video, we're going to do the exact same thing with Tony Morris III and you, Sanderson. See, one of you is going to make a hypocrite or a liar out of the other, and you're both serving on the same governing body simultaneously. Do you guys not even talk to each other when you're behind closed doors? See, this is what happens when you let the monkeys in the writing department write this crap, because they don't have a clue of what they're saying.
Oh, there's going to be more on that later, too.
Oh yeah, you bet. I ain't done with these guys.
The Watchtower of June the 15th, 2011,
Im Wachturm vom 15. Juni 2011,
page 6,
heißt es auf Seite 6,
had a box
da war so eine Box, so ein Kasten.
entitled, Should My Child Put Off Baptism?
Der Kasten war betitelt, sollte mein Kind noch mit der Taufe warten?
Now, I'll read directly from the Watchtower.
Da möchte ich euch direkt raus vorlesen aus diesem Wachturm.
It says, occasionally, even when children qualify for baptism, their parents may decide that it should be postponed.
Da heißt es, manchmal wollen Eltern, dass ihr Kind noch mit der Taufe wartet, obwohl es die Voraussetzungen dafür erfüllt.
Now, what may be the reasons?
Warum ist das so?
Here's the one.
Hier ist ein möglicher Grund dafür.
I fear that if my child gets baptized, he might later fall into serious sin and get disfellowship.
Ich habe Angst, dass mein Kind nach der Taufe etwas Schlimmes macht und ausgeschlossen wird.
Now, here's what the Watchtower said.
Der Wachturm kommentiert das so.
Is it reasonable to believe that a young person who puts off baptism will not be accountable to God for his conduct?
Sind denn ungetaufte junge Leute Gott keine Rechenschaft schuldig?
Solomon directed the following words to young ones.
Salomo richtete sich mit den folgenden Worten an einen jungen Menschen.
Know that on account of your actions, the true God will bring you into judgment.
And Mikey, this is a common cult practice.
Especially religious cults, taking scriptures out of context. Did you all notice that right here, he cleverly disguised what scriptures he was reading from? He says, Solomon said, young man, this and this. He doesn't tell you it's taken from Ecclesiastes chapter 12 because he doesn't want you reading along, because if you read along, you would see that he is misquoting the scriptures. So let me quote these correctly, because Sanderson, you got caught.
Busted.
Okay, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 1. Remember now your grand creator in the days of your young manhood. It doesn't say young childhood. It says your young manhood. Now that could be anywhere from 25 to 30, 35 to 40, because when you put this whole chapter in the context, you will see what this, what Ecclesiastes is, what Solomon is writing here, is that he's comparing the young manhood to the old man before you become crippled up with arthritis and all these pains and everything else that are associated with growing old. That's what this is about in context. But interesting enough, verse 14, because this is what he really used. Because see, he took verse 1 and combined it with verse 14 to manipulate the mind of these Jehovah's Witnesses in Germany to make the Bible say something other than what it's really saying. Verse 14, for the true God himself will bring every sort of work into judgment in relation, in relation to every hidden thing as to whether it is good or bad. See, there's a reason why Sanderson didn't read this entire scripture, and the real reason why he didn't want his audience to know where he was reading from. Jehovah's Witnesses, do you remember several months ago, and in fact in Let's broadcast in the May 2015 JWTV, remember what Let said? Think about that broadcast.
Begging for money?
Well, see, we forgave everybody's loan. Do you remember how that letter was read to the congregation? See?
Oh, yeah.
See, they made you think that those loans were forgiven. And then within a couple of weeks, your congregational elders got you all to pass a resolution agreeing to send in that same amount of money. Now that your loans were forgiven, it was agreed upon by the congregation to continue to send that money. What you don't know, what was hidden from you, is that there was pages 2, 3, and 4. So you passed a resolution based on only 25% of the available knowledge at hand. See, Watchtower hid pages 2, 3, and 4 from the rank and file, but the elders knew what pages 2, 3, and 4. They were given a different set of directions to go.
If you would have been read that letter, you would have known that the elders were directed to send the exact same amount as the loan payment.
Right. So, if you really want to apply Ecclesiastes 12, chapter 14, Sanderson, it's talking about you. For the true God himself will bring every sort of work into the judgment in relation to everything hidden. Not into relation whether a child is baptized or not. It's in the relation to the things that are hidden. And you hid from the entire congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses a fact that when you got them to pass that resolution agreeing to send in the same amount of money, that you were directing the elders to hide this from the congregation. That's why pages 2, 3, and 4 were not read. You people are evil.
Yeah, but to apply this to child baptism...
It doesn't apply. It just... busted. It just doesn't apply to child baptism. But see, that's how a cult, that's how a religious cult will manipulate the scriptures to suit their own ends. To meet their own bullshit is what it comes down to.
Yeah. So...
All right, we got more of this idiot.
Afraid so.
Here we go.
With no exception as to age.
Da ist keine Altersgrenze eingebaut.
Paul gave this reminder.
Paulus sagte dazu Folgendes:
Each of us will render an account for himself to God.
Without no reference of age, the Apostle Paul, this is what we keep saying, friends. These people, these Jehovah's Witnesses, these governing body members, they don't have a clue what's in their own reference work. Remember part 1, Kim read right from the inside book. Now, see, without reference to age, Paul is saying we're all going to render an account, but yet, let's just reread what Sanderson's referring to, because he makes a liar out of himself, and he shows that he doesn't even know what's in their own literature. The statement made by the Apostle Paul to the Corinthians that children were holy by reason of a believing parent is no proof that infants were baptized. Rather, it implies the opposite. Minor children, too young to have the ability to make such a decision, would come under a form of merit because of the believing parent, not because of any so-called sacramental baptism, imparting independent merit. Do you see? He just contradicted their own reference work. What a bunch of frigging idiots.
Well, it makes it sound like that once you're past baby and you're able to understand language, that then you become accountable to God. That's the way he is coming across and making it sound.
But that's not what they wrote here, because they talk about minor children. A 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, 11-year-old is still considered a minor child. And I don't give a damn what country you live in. You're still considered a minor child. So you just contradicted your own reference work, Sanderson. What a friggin' idiot.
Would that be Clownology 102?
You know what? I swear to God, I think what all Jehovah's Witnesses should do, they should all get together and vote these clowns off the governing body. Because these guys don't have a clue what they're doing. They just don't.
It gets better.
Ugh. You mean I have another reason to rant even further?
Oh yeah. I should say it gets worse.
Okay. I'm waiting now.
Damn, and we're out of M&Ms.
Oh no, I don't need any more M&Ms. I'm all fired up now.
Here's the second reason the Watchtower gave.
Da gibt es noch einen zweiten möglichen Grund, der im Wachturm erwähnt wird, weshalb Eltern manchmal ihre Kinder davon abhalten wollen, sich taufen zu lassen.
I would like to see my child reach certain goals first.
Ich hätte gern, dass mein Kind erstmal etwas auf die Beine stellt.
Well, the Watchtower said young people should learn to work so that in time they can be self-sufficient.
Natürlich sollen junge Leute später einmal etwas auf eigenen Füßen stehen können, heißt es im Wachturm.
But there is danger in encouraging them to take up a lifestyle centered on education and financial security instead of true worship.
Allerdings besteht die Gefahr, dass man ihnen einen Lebensstil vorgibt, bei dem sich alles um Bildung und finanzielle Sicherheit dreht, statt um die Anbetung Jehovas.
We remember what Jesus said.
Jesus sagte das so.
As for the one sown among the thorns,
Er sprach von dem Samen, der unter die Dornen gesät wurde.
this is the one hearing the word,
Dieser ist es, der das Wort hört.
but the anxiety of this system of things
Doch die Sorgen dieses Systems der Dinge
and the deceptive power of riches
und die trügerische Macht des Reichtums
choke the word,
ersticken das Wort.
and he becomes unfruitful.
Und er bringt keine Frucht.
Plans for a life that subordinates spirituality to worldly goals
Präsentiert man einem jungen Menschen ein Lebenskonzept, bei dem weltliche Ziele vor Glaubenszielen kommen,
can snuff out a young person's desire to serve God.
dann kann das seinen Wunsch ersticken, Gott dienen zu wollen.
Now, the Watchtower concluded by saying this,
Am Ende heißt es dann,
commenting on youths who qualify for baptism but whose parents do not agree,
ein erfahrener Ältester sagte über Jugendliche, die sich eigentlich taufen lassen könnten, aber von ihren Eltern zurückgehalten werden.
an experienced elder said,
Er sagte,
preventing a young one from getting baptized
wenn man einen Jugendlichen von der Taufe abhält,
can break his spiritual momentum
dann kann ihm das den Mut nehmen.
and lead to discouragement.
Well, it sounds to me like they're absolutely promoting child baptism.
It's what it sounds like to me.
According to one experienced elder, a parent who prevents his child from getting baptized is stunting his spiritual growth, and it'll lead to discouragement.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting how they're equating higher education, to seeds sown by Satan, and snatched.
Well, here's the thing, Watchtower. If you would have been promoting education all along, you wouldn't have your other idiot governing body. My favorite little clown sitting in the broadcast and saying, well, we've done the math and we have more going out than we got coming in. See, your own words are now choking you, aren't they?
Yeah, because look at other religions. There's several that actually promote and encourage
getting
higher
educated.
education,
Yeah.
and some of them have tithing. And guess what?
Yeah, you don't see them begging for money.
Their members are like in the middle income, brackets and
Yeah.
higher.
What a bunch of fools.
Now, brothers, everything I've said is directly from the Watchtower.
All diese Gedanken, die ich gerade mit euch jetzt besprechen wollte, sind direkt aus dem Wachturm.
This is not my personal view.
Das ist also nicht meine persönliche Meinung nur.
You see, the faithful and discreet slave has explained clearly to parents the importance of helping their young people progress in the truth.
What the hell? Did I hear him right? I think we need to replay that so we can hear him again.
Okay.
Now, brothers, everything I've said is directly from the Watchtower.
All diese Gedanken, die ich gerade mit euch jetzt besprechen wollte, sind direkt aus dem Wachturm.
This is not my personal view.
Das ist also nicht meine persönliche Meinung nur.
You see, the faithful and discreet slave has explained clearly to parents the importance of helping their young people progress in the truth.
That's from the Watchtower. So are you equating the Watchtower as God's Word? Because in reality, he says it's from the faithful and discreet slave.
Okay, I thought the governing body was the faithful and discreet slave and producing the spiritual food.
Yeah,
okay,
food at the proper time comes from the faithful and discreet
if it's
slave.
not him,
That's not his
then
personal
who
opinion.
is the faithful and discreet slave producing the food in the Watchtower?
What in the hell are you smoking? I don't get this.
So does that mean the writing department then
The
is
writing
faithful?
department is the faithful and discreet slave because it's the writing department that writes this crap.
But I thought the governing body had to approve it. And isn't he on the governing body?
Apparently the governing body's too busy out buying gold Rolexes. That's why they're not reading this shit.
I wonder.
Unfriggin' believable. See, but you heard it. This is not my opinion. This is from the Watchtower. Right there, he just equated themselves, the Watchtower, as God.
Yeah. Because if he is on the governing body, I thought they were the ones producing the food as the faithful and discreet slave. And he says, this isn't my personal opinion. This is from
That's right.
Watchtower. And he's like isolating himself or insulating himself from that part of it.
This is how stupid and idiotic this group of men are.
I wonder how many witnesses in the audience caught that.
Probably not a single one of them, because they're all, look, Sanderson. Oh, my favorite governing body member.
Yeah. Probably didn't even catch it.
Didn't even catch it.
Well, now, brothers, everything I've said is directly from the Watchtower.
All diese Gedanken, die ich gerade mit euch jetzt besprechen wollte, sind direkt aus dem Wachturm.
This is not my personal view.
Okay, in that segment, Kim and I said personal opinion, personal opinion, personal opinion. But did you catch it? When we replayed, he says, this is not my personal view. So now, Sanderson, are you secretly an apostate? Was that a Freudian slip? Are you not in agreement with what Watchtower wrote regarding baptism and child baptism? Are you not in agreement? You said it. This is not my view. You're secretly an apostate, aren't you? I caught you, you bastard.
Now, if you're in God's righteous new world,
Wenn wir in Jehovas neuer Welt sind,
and you look around and you see that your children are there with you,
wenn wir uns dann umschauen und auch unsere Kinder dort
that
sehen,
you taught them, you trained them to be servants of God,
So, brothers and sisters, when you work so hard to teach them and train them to be servants of God, and they don't meet to your satisfaction, you might want to try this technique.
So in view of such warnings, the Watchtower said about family heads and single parents, you do well to ask yourselves about your children who are old enough to reason, not the little babies here. Will your children, I'm just paraphrasing a little differently, the Watchtower, will they survive this climatic event? Well, they will if they're spiritually alive and strong. When they're old enough to reason, they cannot get through on your coattail. We've never said that. If they're old enough to understand the need for dedication and baptism, and like some used to say, well, I don't think I'm old enough, and I tell parents, because we raise sons, we know how it works. I said, okay. And one just got a little upset, and I've used it several times. I'll tell you what, you tell them, okay, when you turn 16, I don't know about your state, but no driver's license. Oh, no, I'm ready. I am ready. I know I can handle a car when I'm 16. But you can't dedicate your life to get baptized, huh? Now, we never force it, but don't swallow that business.
What a contradiction, huh?
Oh my goodness. So if you've made it through this whole video listening to this crap, kudos to you.
Yeah.
It's like unbelievable, you know. But thank you, Barry, for sending me this talk and, you know, the comments that you made. And thanks to everybody, you know, who sends links and videos and comments and everything. You know, we really appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. And I just haven't had time lately, you know, to thank everybody personally. And thank you for all the birthday cards and wishes and messages and everything. I appreciate it. So, anyway.
Say goodnight, Kim.
Good afternoon. And you all have a great evening.
Bye.
Enjoy the outtakes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
I'm not ready. Let me get situated.
Yeah, it's quit squeaking the chair.
I can't help that.
Too many M&Ms.
Chair needs grease.
1, 2. You keep telling yourself that. 1, 2, 3.
So, brothers and teachers.
See,
Take
you're tired
two.
too.
So, brothers and sisters, that's not, I'm trying to word it so that it sounds coherent.
Good luck with that. 1, 2, 3.
So, brothers and sisters, when you have taught them, when you have trained them to become... hold on. I don't know how to word it so that it's...
Well, what's wrong with the way you've got it written?
No, because I don't like it.
Well, then why'd you write it that way?
Because that's the way I was thinking it. Okay.
1,
Okay.
2, take 5,001.